Hey everybody, my name is Paul, and in this video we are going to have a beginner's guide on how to use Notebooklm. Notebooklm is an easy-to-use digital notebook platform made by Google. It's got some amazing features, including chatting with your notebooks and creating a podcast. We're going to go over it all in this video. So to get to Notebooklm, you'll need to go to notebooklm.google.com, and it'll bring you to this front page. And on this page, you are going to have a list of all of your notebooks right here. And there's not much to this page. It's very simple, and that's one of the reasons that I like it. You'll have a couple of pre-loaded notebooks from Notebooklm, and we're going to create a new one with this button in just a minute. But first, let me show you the rest of the page. So if you go over here and you click this, it's going to make them in list order, and then you can sort them by title or the ones that are shared with you. That's kind of the beauty of Notebooklm, is you can share notebooks with other people. If you go up here to settings, you're going to have some help, be able to send feedback, use their Discord if you want, change the output language, change if you want dark mode or light mode right here. And then if you press upgrade to Pro, it's going to try and sell you Pro, and it'll tell you the benefits of having Pro, which is basically Google's way to try and get you to sign up for Google One, which isn't a bad subscription if you're really into Google and you use Google Photos and Google Docs. It could be worth it. But the free version of Notebooklm has plenty of what we need for our project. So I'm going to click this. I like this view better, and I'm going to go over here to create new. So it created my new notebook, and immediately it starts asking for sources. Now we're learning about cryptocurrency. I know nothing about it, so we're going to press discover sources in just a minute, but let me talk about these other ones. So here you have upload sources. You can upload things that you've downloaded onto your computer, including PDF, text, docs, anything. But something I really like here is the example they give is an MP3. You can upload an MP3 as a source. Notebooklm will be able to listen to that and use that as a reference. Down here we have Google Drive, so basically anything that's Google Docs or Google Slides you can connect. Anything that's a website or a YouTube link, that's really helpful because there's lots of good YouTube videos out there about lots of different subjects, and you can use those as a reference, or any text that you've copied. So you could just press copy text and paste the text here, and then it uses that as a source. But since we don't have any sources on this, we're going to press discover sources, and then it brings up this little box and it's going to say describe something that you'd like to learn. So I'm going to say I'm a beginner at cryptocurrency and I want to know the basics and how to get involved. There we go. I'm going to press submit, and it's going to start pulling sources from the internet automatically. Okay, it's got a couple websites, some PDFs. I don't see any videos. That's okay. We're going to press import, and it's going to take a minute, but it's going to try and import all of these. Sometimes it runs into errors and it won't. Okay, so yep, so down here we had an error, and if you have one of those, what you can do is remove source like that. We can discover more sources. We can add more sources here. It brings up that same box. But now I can instantly start learning about crypto. So let's try asking some questions. And you ask the AI questions here. So tell me what crypto is in one sentence. There we go. Drawing on the sources, cryptocurrency is a digital currency such as Bitcoin that is used as an alternative payment method or speculative investment. So it's kind of like using ChatGPT, except it just uses these sources as its main reference of information, and you can even see which source it got it from right here. So when you hover over this, it gives you a preview of that source, or I can click it and it takes me to that source right there and highlights it for me. And as you can see, it kind of took me down, but if I scroll back up, it takes me to this original summary paragraph, which any response that gives you, you can save as a note. So I'm going to save this as a note, and my notes pop up over here so I can keep track of notes. I can add a note manually, make notes as I'm studying. You can turn a note into a source so that the chat references that. So I have this and I go down here, I can convert this to a source and it adds it over here on this side. So if I have like a really big note that's super important, I can make it a source so that it references that. There are other ways to explore this, like asking it to create a study guide or FAQs, which I think is really cool. You can have a briefing doc, a timeline. You can press mind map, and it will generate a mind map that you can use, like what is cryptocurrency? You click on that, and using that mind map, you can explore ideas. So you go over here. Let me zoom in a little bit, but it tells me it's a digital currency based on cryptographic systems, decentralized structure. So if I want to know something else, I can click on that and it takes me further into the mind map and it talks about it over here. It's kind of like a way of just like clicking and asking questions. So if I really wanted to take the time to learn about cryptocurrency, what I would do is start asking questions, making notes. If I get a really long, good note, I'm going to save it as a source. I'm going to discover more sources as I learn more questions to ask. But the main thing that I'm going to do is go over here where it says audio overview, and I can press generate. And it is going to create a podcast. And you might have heard these podcasts floating around somewhere. But it's two hosts, and they make it super conversational so that you can listen to a summary of these notes in a podcast form. Okay, so as you can see, it created a podcast, and that podcast is 40 minutes long, like a normal podcast. That's crazy.
You hear the buzz everywhere, right? Bitcoin prices hitting these, well, eye-watering new highs, stories of scams that sound totally wild. Suddenly, big corporations are getting involved. This whole world of crypto, it just feels like it's constantly swirling around us. What is all this stuff? Really? What should you actually, know?
It's definitely a topic that grabs headlines. And
What's crazy about this is if you listen closely, they stutter, they laugh, they breathe. It's insane. It does have an interactive mode, which is pretty new. If you click on that, as you're listening to the podcast,
You hear the buzz everywhere, right? Bitcoin prices hitting these, well, eye-watering new highs, stories of scams that sound totally wild.
oh, hey, I think our listeners got something to say.
hey, can you tell me more about those scams?
Yeah, because with all the excitement around crypto, unfortunately, the scammers are out in full force.
Our sources highlight.
So that's crazy. You can actually join in on the podcast, ask a question, and then they reroute their conversation to accommodate that. Anyway, enough geeking out about the most awesome feature of this Notebooklm. But if you go up here to share, this is another cool feature. You can copy the link and share it with your friends or family. And if you have the pro version, there's a way to create a notebook that is a chat only. In other words, you can have a whole bunch of sources and people can come in and chat with those sources. There are tons of use cases for this. You can use this to learn something new. You can use this to study for exams. You can use this as a portal for your kids who are homeschooling. Or you can use this as a way for your employees to chat with your documentation for your company. And the crazy thing is, the free version is extremely generous. I highly suggest using Notebooklm. It's a ton of fun, simple to use, and again, my favorite feature is that podcast feature. Hey, and if you want to know more about AI and prompt engineering and software, check out the link in the description. I have a link to my book. It'll teach you how to write amazing prompts and teach you how to change your mindset around prompt engineering. My name's Paul. If you liked this video, be sure and like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.